Usually when we talk about a medical diagnosis, there's this comforting expectation of precision. It feels, I don't know, somewhat like engineering.
Right. It's very mechanical.
Exactly. Like you break your arm, the x-ray shows that jagged white line, and the doctor just points at the screen and says, well, there it is. There's the problem. Have you ever had that experience?
I mean, yes, fortunately or unfortunately, that's wonderfully binary.
It really is. It's clean, it's visible, and the path to fixing it is totally obvious. But then, imagine an entirely different kind of pain. Have you ever been researching something important?
Like trying to understand a new financial regulation, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Or looking up a strange medical symptom you've been having. And you click on this incredibly lengthy, really authoritative-sounding article. Or maybe you're scrolling through a massive, beautifully formatted thread online.
Oh, I know exactly where this is going.
Right. You're taking it all in, you're focusing hard, ignoring the notifications on your phone, basically dedicating all your mental energy to this text. You read paragraph after paragraph of dense, technical vocabulary.
And you think you're doing the right thing. You think you're learning.
Yes. But then you reach the very end, you close the tab, sit back in your chair, and you realize you learned absolutely nothing. Your brain feels entirely exhausted, but like conceptually completely empty.
Yeah. It's as if you've been chewing on a feast for an hour, only to discover you were eating air.
Eating air. That is exactly it. It's this profound, lingering sense of depletion. And almost everyone operating in the digital world is feeling it right now.
They absolutely are. And we are culturally conditioned to want our ailments to be visible. We want them to be easily categorized on an x-ray like that broken bone.
Because if we can't see it, it feels like it's not real.
Exactly. Because we can't take a physical snapshot of a drained mind, we tend to dismiss the feeling entirely. We just blame ourselves.
We think, I just wasn't focusing hard enough. I need more coffee.
Right. But the sensation you are describing is entirely invisible, and yet it is undeniably neurobiologically real. It's a genuine state of cognitive exhaustion brought on by an environment that is constantly hacking our natural desire to learn.
That's the perfect way to phrase it, blaming ourselves. And the craziest part of that invisible exhaustion is that you can't quite put your finger on why you feel so incredibly drained by something that looked helpful.
Well, that specific modern headache is exactly what we are going to explore today.
Yes, it is. Our mission for this deep dive is to unpack a truly groundbreaking and frankly, paradigm-shifting philosophical paper. It's by Momen Ghazouani.
He's the editor-in-chief of the Atlantic Journal, right?
He is, and this piece was published on April 17th, 2026. The title alone is, it's a dense meal to digest. It's called The Cognitive Commons Under Siege, a philosophical inquiry into the ethics of attention in the age of generative abundance.
The title demands a lot of the reader right up front. But the core premise Ghazouani is presenting is arguably one of the most vital conversations of our decade.
It really is. The tendency with a paper like this is to assume it's just, another tech review of artificial intelligence.
Or a breakdown of the latest large language model update, but it is fundamentally not that.
No, not at all. This is a profound, deeply philosophical, and even biological look at a totally unprecedented moment in human history.
We are currently staring down the barrel of an economic and cognitive inversion. We are looking at what happens when the economic cost of producing complex-looking content drops to absolute zero.
Which is terrifying. But the biological cost to understand it stays the same, right?
Precisely. The biological cost for a human being to understand that content remains brutally, stubbornly fixed.
Okay, let's unpack this, because I promise you, by the time we reach the end of this deep dive, you're going to completely rethink how you spend your daily attention budget.
We're going to look at the actual mechanics of why your brain physically feels different after trying to parse bad synthetic content.
Yeah, and we will explore a terrifying phenomenon the author calls cognitive asphyxiation. And we'll dive into the massive ethical war currently brewing over the shared digital spaces we all rely on.
But before we can even get to the threat of all this artificial content flooding our feeds, we have to establish the baseline. We have to start with the receiver of that content.
Meaning, we have to start with your mind and the strict biological limits it operates under every single day.
Exactly. Because to understand the threat, we have to establish the stakes. Ghazouani argues forcefully that society needs to stop viewing the attention economy as a clever marketing metaphor.
Right, like something created by advertising executives to sell ads.
Yeah, attention is not an abstract currency. It is a biological substrate. The text refers to it as a sacred finitude.
Sacred finitude. Wow. That carries a lot of weight. It makes attention sound like an endangered species.
The religious undertone of the word sacred, paired with the harsh mathematical reality of finitude, is entirely intentional. Ghazouani makes a brilliant distinction in the very first section.
About how we usually think of capital.
Yes. We are incredibly accustomed to thinking of capital in ways that can be endlessly replenished or scaled. Financial capital, for instance, can be multiplied.
If you invest money wisely, it accrues interest. It compounds over time.
Right, and social capital operates similarly through network effects. The more people you know, the more people they introduce you to, expanding your reach exponentially.
But human attention doesn't work like that at all.
Not even a little bit. It completely defies the logic of compounding capital. Attention operates under the strict laws of thermodynamics. It is definitively not renewable in the way money or social influence is.
Meaning, I can't just put my focus in a high-yield savings account and wake up with more of it. It's not a bank balance that I can infinitely top up with a wire transfer.
No, it is far more akin to a strictly rationed, biologically capped daily allowance of metabolic energy. Let's look at the actual numbers. You have approximately 16 waking hours a day.
Give or take, yeah.
Out of those 16 hours, cognitive neuroscience has consistently demonstrated that your prefrontal cortex can only sustain genuine, focused attention for perhaps 4 to 6 hours.
Wait. I need to stop you there. 4 to 6 hours total. Across the entire 16-hour waking day.
Yes. 4 to 6 hours.
But what if I drink 3 cups of espresso and take a cold shower? I feel like I work an 8-hour day and I'm focused the whole time.
You might be sitting at a desk for 8 hours, and you might be performing habitual or low cognitive load tasks for 8 hours. But the deep synthesizing focus required to parse complex new information maxes out at 4 to 6 hours total.
Just from a biological standpoint.
Yeah.
So the coffee doesn't actually give me more focus.
Caffeine merely masks the fatigue. It does not generate new metabolic capacity in the prefrontal cortex, and we must put an enormous asterisk next to that number.
Why is that?
Because that 4 to 6 hour window only exists under mathematically ideal conditions. That maximum window requires you to be perfectly rested, optimally nourished, completely hydrated, and entirely free from underlying chronic stress.
Which describes absolutely no one living in the modern world. If you have a toddler or a stressful commute, or you are worried about your mortgage, your budget isn't 6 hours.
Exactly. It might be 2 hours, it might be 45 minutes. The baseline is incredibly fragile.
That is deeply sobering. And I assume there's a capacity limit on top of the duration limit.
There is.
Yeah.
Our working memory, which is the mental scratch pad where we hold concepts while we try to connect them, can only maintain 3 to 5 chunks of information simultaneously.
3 to 5. That is shockingly low.
It gets worse. Our capacity for context switching is severely penalized by our biology. Every single time you transition your focus from one distinct task to another, there is a heavy cognitive switching cost.
Like going from reading a dense philosophical paragraph